Good morning, fourth graders. Today in math, we're reviewing equivalent fractions, and we're taking it kind of easy. This should not be too difficult. I'm going to go over a couple of examples, one from the first page and one from the second page. Then we'll pause the video so you can try on your own and come back to go over the answers. Let's take a look at question number 1. Question number 1 is asking us to find a fraction that's equivalent to 1/2 by shading in 1/2 in the opposite picture and then writing that fraction that is equivalent to 1/2 that we've then created and shaded in. So in this fraction, we've shaded in 2/4. That's all you're doing for the first page, is shading in the equivalent fraction and then writing what that equivalent fraction is. On pages 2 and 3, these would have been task cards if we were in the classroom. All you need to do on these pages is figure out what the denominator was multiplied by to get the new denominator, and then do the same thing to your numerator to make an equivalent fraction. So for example, in number 1, I know that the 2 must have been multiplied by 5 to get a new denominator of 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top, and 1 times 5 would give me a new numerator of 5. So my equivalent fraction to 1/2 would be 5/10. Go ahead, pause the video now, and then you can come back. We'll go over the answers together. All right, let's go over the rest of these answers on page 1. Question number 2 has us shading in an equivalent fraction to 3/4, but instead of shading in 3/4, I've shaded in 6 out of 8. Question number 3 has us shading in an equivalent fraction to 4/10, but instead of 4/10, I have shaded in 2 out of 5. Question number 4 has us shading in an equivalent fraction to 1/3, but instead of shading in 1/3, I have shaded in 2/6. Question number 5, I'm shading in a fraction equivalent to 4/8, but instead of 4/8, I shaded in 2/4. And the last question on the first page, instead of shading in 1/3, I have shaded in 3/9. Page 2, we already did number 1 together. On number 2, I know that I needed to multiply 5 times 3 in order to turn it into 15. Whatever I do to the bottom, I'm going to do to the top. And 1 times 3 is 3, so my equivalent fraction is 3/15. On number 3, I multiplied 4 times 3 to turn it into 12. Whatever I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 3 times 3 is 9. My equivalent fraction is 9/12. Number 4, I also multiplied 3 times 3 to turn it into 9. Whatever you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. 2 times 3 is 6. The equivalent fraction is 6/9. And on the last page, I know 7 times 3 equals 21. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do on the top. And 1 times 3 is 3, so my equivalent fraction is 3/21. Number 6, 8 times 2 would be 16, so that means I'm going to multiply the top by 2. 1 times 2 is 2, so my equivalent fraction is 2/16. Number 7, I know 5 times 4 is 20. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 times 4 is 8, so my answer is 8/20. And last but not least, number 8, I know 8 times 2 is 16, so then I'm going to multiply the top by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. My answer is 6/16. I hope that was quick and easy for you reviewing equivalent fractions. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you